Yo, 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 it's Andre. I just woke up from dreamland. Anyway, in today's video, I'm going to talk about the man's intellect. What makes up, when it comes to us humans, what makes up our intellect? Specifically men. Remember, our intellect is made up of four components. You ready? The dark, the shadow, the light, the wisdom. So I'm going to start at the wisdom. The wisdom is imagination, shapes and forms, and distinction of the five senses. That's wisdom. That's our wisdom side. And then we have our light side, which is thought, thinking. That's right. The ability to think. Enlighten, just, thinking, thoughts. That's the light side of us, is thoughts. Or the word. Yeah. Now, the shadow side of us is the ego, the self-awareness counterpart. Then the dark side of us is beyond the ego, thought, and imagination. It's the void, the pure state of nothing. Yep. So that's where our mind is made out of four components. A man is dark, shadow, light, wisdom, while woman, the opposite gender, starts off on shadow, then light and wisdom. She don't have a dark side. If she did, she'd be a man too. She'd have a Y chromosome. Dark side also represents a Y chromosome. The dark is another term for the creator. The creator himself exceeds the thoughts, the ego, and the imagination. Because when it comes to the entire universe, that we live in, right? All of reality, even God's own thought, ego, and imagination is an incarnation of him. Oh yeah. While the creator himself exceeds even thinking and self-awareness. He exceeds that. He's literally known as the unconscious, the dark void, the unconscious himself. The mysterious unconscious that started all of reality from himself. From the source, or myself, the source me. So I'm letting you know, remember, it's easy to know what the creator looks like. People don't know what infinity is. That's all I can say. People don't know who that unconscious is. What is the unconscious exactly? The unconscious is the creator. It's the part of us that we see, that sees through these eyes. That makes up the thought, the ego, the self-awareness. Wait, that's another term for ego, sorry. The self-awareness, which is known as ego as well. The thought and the imagination and the body and the water and the blood, everything that exists. Yeah, it comes from the great unconscious. You understand the creator exceeds his own mind construct that he created. Yep, because the mother in heaven is the embodiment of God's ego. The thought in heaven is, the son in heaven is God's thought, represents God's thought. The word, yeah. Logic, while the wisdom in heaven represents God's imagination. Yeah, they all have their own life embodiment, but they represent a part of God's mind. The original family. Oh yeah, but God himself, the creator, exceeds his own mind construct. You gotta remember, ego, thoughts, and wisdom is also creations. So remember that. The creator himself, that goes beyond the self-awareness counterpart, and the thought and the imagination. He's the mysterious force that all existence come out of. And he's also what unconsciousness is, which it turns out unconscious is another term for him. That's a recent term that the source me taught me recently. Because before I didn't even know that another term for him was unconscious. What is this unconscious? Why is it mysterious? Because the unconscious is actually the creator himself. But he also exceeds logic and thoughts and imagination and self-awareness counterpart. He exceeds all of that. So what is he exactly when you really think about it? Yeah, he exceeds all logic, even self-awareness. Can you believe that? Exactly. So he always existed, before the self-awareness, before the beginning. Yeah. He always existed. He's just beyond the concept of, thoughts, ego, imagination, movement, also known as time. Yeah. The existence. All existence is within this great unconscious, while the unconscious simultaneously holds it all together. Exactly. But that unconscious, the black void, what he physically looks like, that unconscious is actually the creator himself. That many people wonder about when it comes to God. Like, who is this God? Who is this? Yeah, just you understand. People just don't recognize him. People don't know, you know what I'm saying? When people actually look, or they go to church, they think of a God, but they don't know the real God. They only go by church definition of God, which is false version of him. You gotta understand, God is not the light, he's the father of the light. The light is another term for his thoughts, the word, the logic. Yeah, but people think God is light. No, light is also an incarnation, a creation. The creator exceeds the light. He's the dark. Dark is the father of light. But of course, people confuse the dark with the shadow. Another term for God's ego counterpart is also the shadow mind, the shadow. That's right. The shadow is also called universal evil, necessary evil, while the light is called universal good and necessary good. And wisdom is called the origin of shape and forms and the distinction of the five senses. So yeah, that's what the original family is known as, the components of God's mind. While God himself is known as the dark, which is beyond good and evil and imagination. That's right. So the dark, the source, is what makes all the rules a reality. Yeah, remember, another term for him is unconscious. So you know how we have the unconscious part of us? Yep, that's the same creator that started everything. And that's our real identity, the real self. You gotta remember, people don't really know what the number 0 means, or what infinity means, or what unconscious means, or the dark means. You gotta understand that. People don't know, or the nothing, oh look, there's nothing there. See, the pure state of nothingness. The average person don't even know what nothing actually is. They just see it as nothing. But they don't understand nothing is just another way of saying the creator, the God. Yeah, you understand, he's the default state of everything. When there's no creation, you see nothing by default. Why is that? Because nothing, another term for the creator, when he made everything, he took everything out of himself. He didn't use something to create something. He took it from himself. Yeah, So I'm just letting you know in detail more about who this unconscious is, who this source is, who this black void, the dark is. So that's what I wanted to say in this video of this new day. Oh yeah, just be aware, folks. You can't know what the creator looks like. You just gotta recognize. That's it. See? And when you think about it, ain't it crazy? Like, he's not based on what the church told you about him, right? The church can never give you an accurate description about him. Because, like I said, they tell you about a false version of him. The church's goal is to deceive the public and make money off of the people. It's one of the many pyramid schemes of the world system. Yep. So, they spread churches everywhere, buildings, right? For a plan of stealing money from people. Talk them out of their money. And they don't care about the reality. They're just going to tell you a false version of the reality. So I'm just letting y'all know, okay? So yeah, the reason why what I tell y'all makes sense, because when I describe it, then you're like, what? I never thought of it that way. Exactly. Because this is literally the real creator I'm telling you about. That's why it makes sense. It's even shown in science. If you actually pay attention to biology, the makeup of everything, and what holds a molecule together, when you see the black behind it. Exactly. I'm keeping it real, man. It's like, it's so easy to know the truth about reality. You just gotta be aware. That's it. So that's what I wanted to say in this video. Yeah, I wanted to describe the creator he's known as in more detail, so that way you can understand who he is. You gotta remember, the creator is the dark black, the void. He has no shape or form. He's omnipresent. That's why he's called omnipresent too. Omnipotent, and he has all, and he's also called the knowing of everything. K-N-O-W. It's also another term for N-O. Okay, remember, N-O is infinity. It's just there by default. It's the source where it comes. That's why N-O and K-N-O-W are the same thing. People don't know it though. Yeah. So anyway, he's also called the knowing of everything. And you gotta remember, he's the only being. What makes him unique too, he's the only being in all of reality that has no shape or form. Both visible and invisible beings have shapes and forms, and the heavens itself has a shape. The oceans, the water, the earth, the firmament, all living beings, all existence, all molecule has a shape, a form, a distinction, while the Creator himself is omnipresent, is formless. No shape or form. Yep. Even when it comes to the original family, they have a unique thing about them that's different from the rest of reality. You know, the shapes and stuff. Because see, light isn't really light is literally illumination, not really a shape. It's an illumination. Let's see. Shadow looks like the dark because she has no body of her own. She's literally the self-awareness counterpart. So she looks similar to the dark, but she's really the self-awareness. That's what shadow is. Self-awareness of the dark. When it comes to the dark is the unconscious with no self-awareness or creation within it. It's actually the one known as the Creator himself, and where everything comes out of. And let me see here. What else? So shadow don't even have a shape really. She just looks like the dark, but she's really the first incarnation. Yeah, the female counterpart to the dark, but she's self-awareness itself. And remember, people don't know where the self-awareness is located in the human body. You know, yeah. Why? Because it's the same thing with the Creator. The self-awareness doesn't have a body, but yet we can't really see a distinction between the Creator and the self-awareness counterpart. Exactly, because she has no body, like, you know, how it, yeah, like I said, but she's just a self-awareness itself, the emotion, the ego, that's it. Oh yeah, while the light is the thought and the illuminating presence. And then wisdom, the main ingredient for why everything has a shape and a form. Yeah, when she came into being, the light created through her right away, and that's where the first shape and forms came into existence, because of the heavens and heavenly beings that dwell in them. Then light created through shadow, yeah, and then came water. Water doesn't have a really a shape, because wisdom was not used as the ingredient, you know, to create through. But when water, male, created through wisdom, female, that's why the firmament in earth has a shape, and why the sun and moon has a shape, because the Creator created through his own daughter, wisdom, which is what created the heavenly bodies. So I'm just letting y'all know, like, wisdom is the ingredient of where the shaper of realities come from. That's it. Well, that's why the original family before her don't really have an actual shape. Yeah. While the Creator alone exceeds the self-awareness, yeah, he's literally the pure state of nothing. And you gotta understand, before there was anything that existed, it was just him by himself, and he literally started the creation process. He realized himself, which gave existence to the self-awareness counterpart, and then he created through the self-awareness, and then they had two children, light and wisdom. See, that shows you that the unconscious that he's also known as is a living being, the living being. Yeah, because if it wasn't so, if something really don't come from nothing, then how is it that he started reality? If something don't come from nothing, exactly. Yeah, science that can't explain everything at the highest detail, or rather, they're not allowed to. But yeah, something do come out of nothing. That's the truth. But remember, people just don't know what the nothing is. You gotta understand that. That's why it's confusing to them. It's basically a paradox in their mind. People can't really know what that really means, because they don't know what nothing really is. Keeping it real. Anyway, that's the end of this video, folks. Food for thought. Oh yeah. Peace.